Oga Godwin Akpan. Oga Godwin, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah,
good morning.
Welcome
How
to
you
the
day
show.
this morning?
How you day?
Okay, so Godwin Akpan, documentary and photojournalist, and now you follow Sidan this morning to yarn about the NSAS matter, especially as it gets to do with police reforms. Our police, true, they don't reform them. Godwin, you been get plenty photo them before the NSAS protests, during, and even after. Based on your research as a documentary photojournalist, what do you go say be the better change where you don't see for inside police reform for Nigeria so far, 1 year after this NSAS protest?
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for having me on your platform this morning. For me, I would say they've been nothing. They've been nothing, just a public display of disbandment, in quotes, of the name Sars. But these guys are still on the road, still doing what they feel like doing to innocent civilians and everything, and nothing has been done. Nothing has been done at all.
Now, looking at the situation of the police itself, because the whole reason for the protest now to change the way the police operations they go, and from the welfare of police, salaries, every other thing that would make the police operate better. We don't see, say, 1 year don't pass. And according to some kind of report we get, we talk, say, from the last incident we happened last year on the 20th, some police stations been they burnt down, close to like 44 of them. Some police officers been by, and all those kind of things been shelled. But so far, you don't go any police station recently, or as your work, they carry you go around to take pictures, to document information. You don't see, say, things don't change physically, as in physical things like structures or things like that don't change regarding the police force for the country.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. For the few locations I've been to in terms of my personal projects in documenting some of these developments in quotes, I would say a lot of things have not been done. I will give examples, like the police station at Aja is still there. The ShopRite at Jakande is still there. Sometimes when I go through these places, I try to put myself in the shoes of the owners of these shops inside the mall. Like 1 year after, these guys are still, not having any means of getting money. And like, it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing, not even to the civilians alone, but to the police as an institution. Nothing has been done. Some of them, the structures are still there. Some of them, they just use maybe something to cover their roof, just to have a roof over them and everything. And that shouldn't be how the Nigerian police force, how they should be presented to the public. So a lot of things are still pending. A lot of things in terms of infrastructure, be it the police force, be it police stations, be it some of the outlets that were being looted and everything. So a lot of things done.
Okay, so basically, now we don't talk and say one of the clamors now for better livelihood for the police officers in terms of remuneration and package for them and all that. You don't look like say it be like say better hope don't day now for police officers and to get better remuneration and hazard fee and all of that because of the kind of work what did they do?
I would say I was privileged, especially during the NSAS movement. I love the fact that you guys are not really addressing it as a protest, because from what I observed during while documenting the NSAS was it was more than a protest. It was a movement. It's a movement. Even the government was shocked about it and everything. So I was privileged to meet with 1 or 2 police officers, during the NSAS, movement. And I had a one-on-one and a close rapport with them. One of the things I observe is that some of these men are really genuine. They are caged. They are still slaved to the institution, in quotes. some of them have good intentions and everything, but the institution itself has frustrated their good plans, and even to the extent of even influencing the negativity on them. So it's really sad. It's really sad that even the police officers themselves don't even have a say, when it comes to their welfare, I know of some family members, wives of some police officers that are still even yet to be compensated for, that their husband, died during the NSAS, stuff that are still yet to become. So how do you want to even encourage me to tell my kids to go into the police force? How do we even want to encourage other people to come into the police force when their welfare are not being properly taken care of?
Okay.
So as it been now,
how do we even want them to even act like a sane person to civilians out there? These guys are frustrated. These guys are frustrated. Let's be plain. I'm not judging. I'm not giving a plain an excuse for their action. But for every action, there's a reaction. There's something igniting in somewhere.
Leading to that,
so
yes.
these guys are frustrated. So a better way for them to express that frustration might not be to their boss sitting down in the office under the AC, will be on innocent civilians.
Oh, okay. So as it been now, you go talk, say, this protest will be say youth that may come out can do last year, and the begin will happen 20th of October. You go talk, say, it don't achieve in purpose unto say police don't get a certain change in terms of how it be say our police them, how our police they use package and all of that. We go talk, say, lights go day at the end of the tunnel. As it be, means say it be say this movement no waste in vain.
Like I said earlier, it wasn't a protest or a movement, and a movement is a present continuous activity. It's a present continuous activity. So NSAS as a movement is also beyond the police reformation and everything. It boils down into bad governance, basic amenities and everything. And for me, I used to tell people that Nigerians are really, really sympathetic, are really understandable. We don't want, sincerely speaking, we don't want Nigeria to be the Dubai in quotes just overnight. All we are just asking for is, can you just provide the basic amenities? And after then, we can now start to talk about, okay, let's make Nigeria the Dubai of our dreams. But can we just have these basic amenities in place, good roads, like security and everything? So for me, I would say the purpose of the NSAS movement have not really been met at all. Let's even bring it down to the 5 for 5. Go back to the list. Nothing has been done regarding that. Nothing has been done regarding that. So for me, it was a good start. It's just like a tip of the iceberg. And if the government is really wise enough, they will put things in place, like put structures in place to not to really avoid this kind of thing from coming up, but to at least put an end to something like this completely.
Okay. Okay, Godwin, you've been talking about the fact, say, people never get, some families of the police officers will lose their lives, say they never get compensation, and some other people like that. But as the report we get recently, they talk, say, the Lagos State judicial panel, they been come one agreement, say they go give 128.2 million naira to 24 petitioners, where they don't carry out investigation on top and check everything. Say they go present this report, give Lagos State government, and Lagos State government go do the needful. That are 128.2 million naira as compensation. Now, you feel, say, this one now at least step in the right direction, looking at the fact, say, okay, to start from here, make we start to compensate to see whether we go actually achieve the end goal. If you say this one a step in the right direction.
I would say kudos to the Lagos State government for that. But let's all be sincere, NSAS was beyond Lagos. NSAS happened in Ibadan, happened in various states in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And how about those police officers, their families, in Ibadan, in other states, what have happened? Because for me, I'm not just limiting the NSAS conversation just to Lagos alone.
Okay.
Yes, the massacre happened here in Lagos and everything, but so many people lost. The result of the massacre in Lagos resulted like it happened in various places.
In different places, yes.
And this is also for me to point out that the narrative that the government is trying to push out there about the NSAS movement was that is a bad movement. And if care is not taken, this will be the narrative that will be passed to the next generation. NSAS was never really a bad movement. Because if it was really a bad movement from the beginning, destruction would have started taking place. Destruction would have started taking place. I documented NSAS from the beginning to the end, and it kind of worked on my mentality as a person that we grew up believing that Nigerians were divided as from our religion, from our tribe, from our ethnicity or class. But the NSAS movement for me was like an equalizer. Everybody came to that protest ground, and everybody was like my brother, my sister. I know of my friends that are the sons of governors, deputy governors, that were at the protest ground. They even sneaked out of the house. They didn't tell their mom. They didn't come with an escort or anything, but they blended with everybody. Everybody. So the NSAS for me was one of the peaceful protests I've ever seen in my short time, and but there is something about in physics, and they will say that when you apply, for every reaction, there's a force behind it, in quotes. So the reaction, I remember when I narrowly escaped from that toll gate massacre that night. I was walking down, just going randomly and everything. That was when I started seeing boys on the street, destroying some things, setting fire on some places. And this was the reaction of the military coming down to shoot. You can't expect this thing will happen anywhere in the world. It's a reaction. You can't expect to pinch me and I won't move. I don't know if you get. So it's a reaction everywhere that can happen anywhere. So that single act of the Nigerian military coming down to the toll gate and shot at innocent protesters, singing the Nigerian anthem, raising the Nigerian flag, was what resulted in the destructions of structures, even lives and everything. So the NSAS movement for me was never really a bad movement, and this is also why, as a photojournalist, I would also want to use my skill to change this narrative. I was supposed to have a photo exhibition today, a 5-day photo exhibition starting from today till Sunday, to tell the stories of NSAS from a place of strength, to celebrate the resilience, the love, the unity, the bond that existed during the NSAS movement. But we had to temporarily suspend that photo exhibition also because of this government stuff and everything. The DSS called me.
Okay.
Just have an exhibition. But this is just like a tip of the iceberg. A documentary book will definitely come out from this thing, because for me, I want to be able to tell my kids about NSAS. I remember when my dad was blessed memories, used to tell us about Biafra War. There was no proper documentation about that Biafra War.
All right,
I only have imagination about how that war went. So for me, I want to be able to tell my kids about the NSAS movement and be able to fall back to a book and get the truth.
And explain the story from that perspective.
All right. We understand. Thank you so much.